3 mistakes to avoid when pitching to a publication or website. Hi, I'm Julie Brown, and in this video I'm going to show you how to stop being rejected, ignored and overlooked by journalists and editors and website owners. If you like this video, I would love you to subscribe. If you just click on the little button somewhere on the screen, the computer will do the rest for you. Now, nobody likes being overlooked or rejected. That's just a fact of life. But when you're pitching out to publications, websites, podcasts, then you will get rejected. You will get overlooked at times. But there are ways to make sure that that happens as little as often. And the first thing I want to talk to you about, and it may seem really obvious, but not everybody does this, and it's the number one thing that you can do to help with this situation. And that is to do some research on the publication or website that you're about to pitch to. Now, the reason you do this is because if you think you've had a good idea for this publication, you think it's a really good fit for their audience, then you need to check that somebody else hasn't had the same idea. Because, as we know, it's very difficult to find unique ways of saying things, unique angles on things that you found out about. So there's every chance that somebody has covered it already. Now, if you find out that they have, that doesn't mean that you can't pitch it in as another feature idea. What it does mean is that you might need to work it up slightly differently, so it's very different to what's already been pitched in before. A rule of thumb with magazines in particular is that they tend to have a life cycle of about a year. So if something's been featured in the previous year, they're unlikely to feature it again. If it's outside that year, then they are more likely to look at your pitch in a favourable light. The best ways to do research is to actually look back through previous issues, if you can, of the magazine that you want to pitch to. Now, I know that's not easy because not everybody wants to be buying lots of magazines every month just in case they want to pitch to it later on. But even if you haven't got back issues of the magazine, if you go onto their website, often what's been in the magazine is transferred over to the website at some point after it's been in the magazine. So it's such an easy thing to do. It really is key. Just get on there, have a look around and see what you can find. If you can't find anything on your topic, if you've searched around, then it's likely that this is going to work for you. It's going to be a good fit. If you do find something, then either leave it for a little while before you pitch in again, or, as I said earlier, find a different angle. Now, business owners spend time pitching into publications, magazines, podcasts, YouTube channels in the hope of getting some coverage. And what often happens is they get a big empty silence in return. And that, as I said earlier, isn't unusual. What you do have to do is be brave enough to follow up. And this is really key in this strategy that you're putting together for press coverage. Because, yes, journalists are very busy people, editors in particular, but that makes it even more key that you follow up, because there's every chance that they've seen your email, read it, thought that's interesting, put it into a folder somewhere, and they've just forgot about it, moved on to the next thing. And if you don't follow up, it'll just stay in that folder. When you do follow up, which they do like, they want you to follow up, you're not being annoying, it will chivvy them along to have another look, and you're likely to get a response back quite quickly from that point. It is often the case that you do need to follow up. Don't be thinking that your first pitch is always going to be the one that gets approved. You probably will need to follow them up again. So do that. Don't be shy. Don't think you're being annoying. They're going to expect it. So just drop them a line, very short and sweet. I just wondered if you had any feedback. I wondered if you'd had a chance to have a look, and then see what happens. I always say that if you haven't heard back within a week, then do the follow-up email. If you haven't heard back another week from that point, then I would leave it and move on to somewhere else. But just don't forget to do that follow-up part of this strategy. Now, my third point is to never lose hope. And that's because when you're pitching into the press and you do get these silences back and you're not getting picked up, it's very easy to think, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's too much like hard work. It's keeping me too busy. I haven't got time to look at other things. And therefore, perhaps I should just not bother. But what I want to say here is you never know what's going on at the other end of that email address. That person sat there looking at your stuff. They may be quite encouraged about what you're saying, liking what you're writing, what you're doing, but it's just not a good fit at that point. But what you'll find is if you just keep going, if it's a magazine or publication you really want to be in, or a website you want to be on, then just keep going, keep pitching in, because the more you pitch in, the quicker it will become anyway. So you're not going to be wasting as much time as you have been, if that's how you look at it. And you never know, they may just reach out to you at some point when they want something specific that they know you can give them the goods on. They may just reach out to you and ask for it, which would be fantastic. And that's why you've just got to keep going. Press coverage isn't something that you can just start and stop. It's a part of your visibility strategy that just has to be kept going, a bit like your Facebook posting and your Instagram posting and however else you make yourself visible. If you're going to tackle press coverage, it just has to be part of that routine. You post, you tweet, you go on LinkedIn, and then you pitch to the press. It's just part of that cycle, and you just never know what will come of it. So just keep going, don't lose hope. So there you go, they're my 3 top tips for not getting overlooked, ignored or rejected. I hope you enjoyed that and you found it useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks guys.